Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are looking at an absolutely high-stakes effort to pull the U.S. and Iran back from the brink of all-out war. And, the person leading this whole thing? Well, it's not a diplomat. It's a four-star general. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so let's set the scene, because this really is something straight out of a political thriller. The world is holding its breath, tensions are just about as high as they can get, and pretty much all hope for peace is resting on this one man's shoulders.
And there he is, Pakistan's Army Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir, touching down in Tehran. Now, this is no ordinary military visit. Nope, this is a last-ditch diplomatic mission to try and salvage peace talks that completely fell apart just a few days ago.
Which brings us to the million-dollar question, right? Why on earth is a general doing a diplomat's job? To really get that, we've got to rewind just a little bit and see how we got to this critical tipping point in the first place.
So let's get into the backstory of how this whole situation escalated so quickly. I mean, the road to this moment has been fast, it's been destructive, and it's brought everyone perilously close to the edge. Just look at how fast this all happened. It's pretty striking. In just 7 weeks, we've gone from open war to a very fragile ceasefire to totally collapsed peace talks. And now this 11th-hour mission. The clock is literally ticking, with that ceasefire about to expire next week.
And let me tell you, the stakes could not be higher. This is not just some regional skirmish. In less than 2 months, thousands of lives have been lost. It's sent absolute shockwaves through global energy markets and is now threatening to drive up inflation for everyone all around the world. So yeah, what General Munir is doing in Tehran, it really matters to all of us.
So, you might be wondering, with the official talks completely stalled, and with the US and Iran not even speaking to each other directly, how did Pakistan become the main player in this whole geopolitical drama?
Well, it really all comes down to Pakistan's incredibly unique position on the world stage. Think of it like a complex web. They have close ties with the US, a strong partnership with China, and, most importantly for this situation, they have good relationships with both Iran and its major rivals in the Gulf. This basically makes Pakistan the only viable communication channel left when no one else is talking.
And this shows you just how crucial that role has become. I mean, this isn't some secret back-channel stuff. This is all out in the open. The White House is publicly singing Pakistan's praises, with the press secretary literally calling them incredible mediators.
And here's the kicker. Tehran completely agrees. Even after those talks in Islamabad failed, Iran's own foreign ministry confirmed that messages are still being passed back and forth through Pakistan. They are, for all intents and purposes, the only bridge left standing between these two sides.
Okay. So if everyone loves the mediator, what's actually stopping a peace deal from happening? Well, it boils down to 3 gigantic roadblocks. And these are the exact same issues that made the last round of talk just implode.
Let's break them down one by one.
So these are the 3 massive hurdles. First up, the big one, the future of Iran's entire nuclear program. Second, who controls the Strait of Hormuz, which is a critical shipping lane for global oil. And third, the ongoing conflict between Israel and Lebanon.
So on that first roadblock, the nuclear issue, the gap between the two sides is just huge. Iran insists it has the right to peaceful nuclear energy, but they've called the U.S. demands on uranium enrichment unreasonable and unrealistic. This right here is probably the toughest nut to crack.
But it's not all bad news. For the other 2 issues, we are seeing some glimmers of hope. On the Strait of Hormuz, Tehran has actually hinted that they might compromise, maybe by letting ships pass through a specific corridor. And as for the Lebanon conflict, the U.S. strategy seems to be to just hive that off into separate talks, which could take it off the table as an obstacle for a direct U.S.-Iran deal.
So it really all comes down to this. What happens now? The clock is ticking, we've got a general leading the charge, and the whole world is basically just watching and waiting.
And that is the deadline hanging over every single conversation. General Munir's mission has just a few days to get some kind of breakthrough. If he fails, that fragile ceasefire could just vanish, plunging the region, and maybe the world, right back into a devastating war.
And that really leaves us with the final and most critical question of all. In a situation this delicate, is the direct, no-nonsense approach of a military channel exactly what's needed to cut through all the noise? Or are these problems just too big, too complex to be solved in a handful of days? The answer, whatever it is going to determine if we see peace or a return to war.